My best friend Yumi never talks about money. Not because she doesn't have any, because she doesn't think it's very interesting. We've known each other since college, and whenever money comes up, Yumi listens more than she talks. Someone complains about rent. Someone brags about a promotion. Someone mentions a stock that's supposedly about to double. Yumi just nods and sips her tea. No hot takes, no lectures. And yet she is the least stressed person I know when it comes to money. Not rich, just comfortable. The kind of comfortable that lets you sleep at night. For years I figured it was just her personality. Then one afternoon she completely changed the way I think about money. I was sitting in her kitchen, complaining about my finances. Not because I wasn't earning enough. That's what made it so frustrating. I was earning enough, at least on paper. But somehow there was never as much left as I expected. Every month felt the same. A few meals out, something I needed, something I convinced myself I needed. Nothing dramatic, just hundreds of small decisions that seemed harmless on their own. Yumi listened quietly while making tea. Then she said something that stopped me cold.
Layla, in my family, we don't talk about what we have. We talk about what we don't waste.
I had no idea what she meant. Because where I grew up, money conversations were always about getting more. A bigger salary, a smarter investment. Everything pointed in one direction. More. The idea that wealth might come from wasting less instead of earning more, that felt almost backwards. But over the next few hours, Yumi told me about her grandmother and her grandmother's grandmother. Habits passed down through generations. Not investment secrets, just simple ideas. Some over 100 years old. The kind that sound almost boring when you first hear them, until you realize how powerful they actually are. Today, I'm sharing those habits with my circle, because one conversation in Yumi's kitchen changed more about my finances than years of money books ever did. Japan's household savings rate is consistently 3 to 4 times higher than in the US. Not because Japanese people earn more. Median household income there is actually lower. They save more because they think about money differently. In much of Western culture, wealth is something we display. The new car, the designer bag, the vacation photo. We perform financial success. In many Japanese households, the opposite instinct exists. More value is placed on restraint than display, on stability rather than appearance, on peace rather than performance. Once you understand that cultural flip, the habits make complete sense. Number 1, ka-ke-ibo, the notebook that wakes your brain up. The first time Yumi showed me her ka-ke-ibo, I thought she'd forgotten the important part. She kept talking about this incredible money system, and then pulled out a plain notebook. No app, no dashboard, nothing. Ka-ke-ibo has existed since 1904. It was invented by Japan's first female journalist as a tool to give women financial control at a time when they had almost none. I love that detail. The system is simple. At the start of every month, income in, fixed costs out, savings target, what's left. Then every day, you write what you spent, sort it into needs, wants, culture, and surprises. End of month. Did I reach my goal? What went well? What changes next month? When Yumi explained this, I said exactly what you're thinking. There's an app for that. She laughed.
The app remembers for you. The notebook makes you remember.
And that is a huge difference. When your banking app quietly categorizes a purchase, your brain barely notices. But when you sit down that evening and write by hand, take out $32, random purchase $27, you experience the spending twice. Once when you buy it, once when you record it. After a few weeks, something shifts. You start thinking before you spend, not after. You find yourself standing in a shop asking, do I actually want this? Or do I just not want to write it down tonight? That pause is where the real budget lives. Not in any app. In the moment before the purchase, when you're honest with yourself. Number 2, motta inai, the feeling of waste. The next thing Yumi taught me was a word I'd never heard. Motta inai. There's no perfect English translation. It roughly means, what a waste, what a shame. The discomfort you feel when something useful is thrown away before its time. Yumi told me her grandmother used the word constantly. Food, clothes, furniture, money. Nothing escaped the mot ta'ini treatment. At first it sounded old-fashioned. Then I cleaned out my fridge one Sunday. Half a cucumber, spinach that had clearly given up on life, leftovers I couldn't identify anymore, all in the bin. And I realized, if I threw $30 in cash in the garbage every week, I'd be horrified. But when the money is disguised as food, or unfinished products, forgotten subscriptions, clothes bought on sale that I never wore, my brain doesn't react the same way. Most financial leaks aren't disasters. They're drips. Tiny drips, repeated hundreds of times. Mata-i-nye trains you to notice them. There's also a Japanese art form called kintsugi, repairing broken pottery with gold, so the crack becomes part of the beauty. Apply that to your financial life, and suddenly the worn bag, the scratched table, the old phone that still works fine, they stop being embarrassing and start being enough. Number 3, ha-ra-ha-chi-bu, leave room. This one comes from Okinawa, one of the places in the world famous for exceptional longevity. The practice: stop eating when you're about 80% full, not stuffed. Satisfied, leave room, leave margin. Yumi told me the principle was never really about food. Her calendar isn't packed, her apartment isn't packed, and her finances aren't packed. She lives as though she earns slightly less than she actually does, and the difference moves automatically into savings the morning after payday. She never waits to see what's left over. She creates room first, then builds her life around what remains. The numbers behind this are staggering. On a $50,000 salary, the difference between a 4% savings rate and a 20% savings rate is $8,000 a year. Over 30 years with average market returns, that gap is the difference between roughly $240,000 and over $1 million. Same salary, same city, same life. The only thing that changed is what you decided to call enough. Number 4, Kaizen. 1% better every month. Yumi has never announced a complete life transformation. No 30-day challenge, no dramatic financial reset, no new year, new me. She follows Kaizen, continuous small improvement. Instead of fixing everything, improve one thing. This month, reduce takeout by 10%, not 50, 10. Next month, cancel one subscription you've forgotten about. The month after, automate your savings transfer. Each change is so small your brain doesn't resist it. And 12 months later, your savings rate has quietly doubled. And you honestly couldn't tell me the exact moment it happened. That's not an accident. That's the design. Number 5, Chokin. Save first, always first. Not what's left at the end of the month. Not whatever survives after spending. First. Yumi's savings transfer is automatic, the morning after payday. No decision, no willpower. The money leaves, and whatever remains is what she has to spend. Her spending life shrinks to fit what's left, not the other way around. When I first heard this, I thought, obviously, everyone knows that. Then I looked at my own behavior. I was doing what most people do. Earn, spend, hope. Hope something survives until the end of the month. That's not a strategy. That's optimism. Chokin removes optimism from the equation. It turns saving into the default. And once something becomes automatic, it becomes almost effortless to sustain. Okay, my circle. Here's what I want you to do. Not all 5, just one. If you've never tracked your spending consciously, start with Kakeibo. Buy a cheap notebook. Track 1 week. That's it. If you suspect you're wasting more than you realize, try the Mot Ta-Inai challenge. For 7 days, photograph everything you throw away from your fridge. No guilt, just observe. And if you've been telling yourself you'll save whatever is left over, set up an automatic transfer today, even $25. The amount matters far less than the sequence. Save first, spend second. One habit, let it become normal. Then add another. That's Kaizen. That's exactly how this works. A few months ago, Yumi and I were on the phone. I asked her something I'd wondered about for years. Yumi, do you ever feel like you're missing out? The upgrades, the things everyone seems to be chasing, does it ever pull at you? She was quiet for a moment. Then she said,
Layla, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I feel like I have everything I chose.
I've thought about that sentence a lot, because that's not a budgeting strategy. That's a philosophy. The families who've practiced these habits for generations weren't depriving themselves. They were making a different trade. Less noise, more security, less performance, more peace. Quiet wealth isn't built through one brilliant investment. It's built through attention, through intention, through knowing what is enough. In a world that constantly tells you to want more, that might be one of the most valuable things you can learn. That's what Yumi taught me. And now I'm passing it on to you.